Hello, today I'm going to do part 2 of Cable's Lost Treasure. This story is about the golden boulder, and this might be a rather interesting story. It surfaced in two different areas. It probably is a spin-off of W.A. Clark's buying a $10,000 gold nugget for display. But according to Treasure State Treasure Tales, the author was Gene Moore, who I never could find much information on this Montana author, but they had done two books. Shallow Diggings was the other one, and some newspaper articles that I found sometimes goes back to the 1930s and 1950 for the Treasure State Treasure Tales. So they were doing some research and lost treasure stuff during that time period. Well, they had this story about the two miners. Actually, they weren't miners. They just knew if they could get hired on at the mine at Cable, they would have a roof and meals. Well, they worked there just so long, and the owners realized these guys didn't know anything about mining. So they fired them. But yet these two guys kind of hung around. Maybe the reason, according to the story, is this mine, Cable, was found in 1866, started with placer mining, but in 1867, the first of the lode mining was found, and a very rich vein was discovered. Now, Gene Moore with Treasure State Treasure Tales claims the story of these two miners and this golden boulder took place in 1867. But anyway, these guys hung around the mine and didn't really move on like other people would. And they went to the assayer for the company and they said, well, if you found a really big gold nugget boulder, what would you do with it? And the assayer was busy and he said, well, why don't you just ask me something like this when you do find one? And so they left, and later on there was these other guys getting off shift, and they were eating in the mess hall, and they said, yeah, they gave these two guys, they were having struggling with this big boulder, and you couldn't lift it, so they're helping them roll it off to the side, out of the way of everybody else. And so they were talking as they ate, and then it dawned on them, there was a reason these guys are messing with this boulder, and they went back and the boulder was gone. So the speculation was these two guys that were fired had hung around and waited till they could find a big, rich chunk of gold in a boulder, and of course they couldn't lift it, but they busted it apart. So the story lived on in this Treasure State Treasure Tales for a long time. In fact, most people don't even know this book exists. It's hard to find. Check with your library, the archive section. I never could find one on Amazon. Well, I think the last one listed was actually out of Amazon UK. So it's a hard to find book, but it makes you wonder, and so that's kind of the second of the lost treasures of Cable. But was it really a find, or was it really a spin-off of the Big Nugget by W.A. Clark? So until next time, have a good day.